So good afternoon. It's great to be here again. My name is David Lucchino, and it's really exciting to be the chairman of an 1,100 member organization, MassBio. That's really the trade association for the life science industry, not just in Massachusetts, but for New England, and I would even argue for the world. It's just a really important community that we're building. As Bob mentioned, I'm the CEO of Frequency Therapeutics, which is a small molecule focused company that's using sort of a regenerative medicine approach, but not by taking cells outside of the body, but using the cells already within the body to create a healing response tissue by tissue. As Bob mentioned, prior to starting Frequency Therapeutics, I really had spent most of my career at a spin-out company from the lab of Dr. Robert Langer, and of course, Mike Lucima is great friends with Bob Langer as well, and has an even longer history with Dr. Langer than I have. And so we're really honored to have you today, Michael, to really talk about that. But the key takeaway for this audience is I get it from a medical device startup. I started with an idea that won the MIT Business Plan competition, and we built that to a company that we sold to Teleflex Medical in 2012 in a transaction for $80 million. And it was a technology where we could put it on the inside and the outside of a catheter. It was a non-fouling technology that we wound up repurposing from the US Navy that had developed it to be put on the sides of submarines and ships. But as part of that, and as part of my time at MassBio, I've been able to bring the perspective of having served on the board of AdvaMed, which is the national trade association for the medical device industry in Washington, D.C. And at AdvaMed, I got to work alongside such medical device leaders as my friend Mike Minot, who's building an outstanding company called Abiomed up in Danvers, Joe Almeida, who at the time was head of Covidien and is now running Baxter, and then Stu Randall, who at the time was running GI Dynamics and is now on the board of Teleflex and runs a local company here, Evinex. And so I really have an appreciation for how important the medical device industry is to the overall life science community. I would also say we should also recognize that the former CEO of AdvaMed, Steve Ubel, who's a personal friend of mine, is now running the pharma, or the Pharmaceutical Trade Association. So I think all of us in this room, we recognize that there's unique differences between running a biotech company and running a medtech company. But the real point that I'm making is we're all part of one life science industry here in Massachusetts. And remember, we are truly the world's most innovative community, looking to help patients, whether it's on the medtech side or the biotech side. And so what's really fascinating for me is this firsthand experience of having been a medical device startup executive and now a biotech startup executive, and seeing how we collectively champion and work together on some key issues. And really the first is, the reason why I do this, and I think many of you do this, is we want to help patients. And so ensuring that the men and women that need our solutions are being helped. And the other idea is the idea of developing breakthrough or innovative technologies. It could be a therapy or it could be a medical device. And I think there's no question we're seeing by the longevity of our population and how well people are starting to live their lives, that this is an important component of the community that we want to live in here in the United States, and as being a real true global leader. But we should also recognize that both industries, medical device and biotech, face similar challenges from legislators, regulators, and payers, where working together, we can be a cohesive and strong advocate for what it is that our industry does well. And I would applaud MassBio and the leadership of Bob Coughlin for really wanting to embrace the medical device community as part of our overall strategic plan. And we want to do this in a collaborative, very transparent way. And so as we get down to it, I just want to emphasize again, I just have a few more words. The core motivation of both industries is to improve the lives of men and women, the people that are a part of our lives. And again, therapies and devices as they advance, policymakers, insurance companies, need to be part of the debate of over reimbursement and access that we need to continue to lead and deliver on key policy issues. And so it's how do we work together is how any great community works together. I used to call Massachusetts a cluster, but I really prefer to call it a community, because it's how we all work together, neighbor by neighbor, that really separates us out from the rest of the world. And we're not looking to exclude people. We want to bring people to come into our overall community that will allow us to continue to build great companies and advance great ideas coming out of MIT, Harvard, Tufts, other wonderful universities. The final thing I'd say is I'm not just a member of the life science community, I'm a patient. A number of years ago, I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, which is a form of a blood cancer, and I was treated, and really my life was saved by some of the key innovations that were developed in Kendall Square, and specifically Millennium Pharmaceuticals, and the outstanding work of Ken Anderson over at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. So I am truly living proof that the work that everyone does in this room can save lives, because mine was clearly saved by a disease where 20 years ago it was truly a death sentence. And so I just want to thank everybody for attending today's event. I want us to come together, and I want everyone to know that MassBio really wants to play a key constructive leadership role for the whole life science industry in a very transparent and decisive way. So thank you very much, and please enjoy Mark Wasima's discussion and talk.